As night fell over Washington, D.C., the sky was unusually clear, stars twinkling brightly against the deep indigo backdrop. It was a perfect night for stargazing, an activity that Dr. Lena Hartwell, an astrophysicist, enjoyed from her observatory on the outskirts of the city. But tonight, her focus was interrupted by an anomaly that didn't fit any known celestial patterns. It was a series of strange, pulsating lights that seemed too synchronized to be natural phenomena. Dr. Hartwell was not alone in her observations. Across major American cities, from the bustling streets of New York City to the expansive avenues of Los Angeles, people looked up in awe and confusion at the eerie lights dancing across the horizon. Social media lit up with videos and speculations, escalating public interest and concern. Meanwhile, at the Pentagon, a flurry of activity erupted in one of the highly secured Situation Rooms. General Marcus Eldridge, a seasoned military strategist, was brought in to consult on the situation. Screens showed live feeds from NORAD and various military outposts, all tracking the unidentified objects with a growing sense of urgency. "General, we've got multiple bogies entering controlled airspace," reported a NORAD commander, his voice laced with tension. "Communications are jammed in areas directly beneath these things. We can't get a lock on them with our radar systems." General Eldridge's brow furrowed as he assessed the situation. "Scramble the F-22s. I want a visual confirmation. Keep the lines open with air traffic control and make sure civilian flights are rerouted away from these coordinates." As fighter jets soared into the night sky, Americans glued to their television screens watched breaking news updates with bated breath. The jets approached the luminous objects, their sleek forms cutting through the night. Pilots reported back, their transmissions crackling with static. "They're unlike any aircraft we've encountered. No visible propulsion, no emissions," one pilot relayed, his voice a mixture of awe and apprehension. Without warning, the sky lit up as several of the objects accelerated, demonstrating impossible speeds and agility. In a coordinated move, they descended toward strategic points, major power plants across the United States. Back in D.C., Dr. Hartwell received a call from her contact at NASA, Dr. Emmeline Gwynn. "Lena, have you been tracking these objects?" Emily's voice was tight with concern. "Yes, I have live data coming in. But there's something off. The spectral analysis doesn't match anything we know. And Emily, they're emitting some kind of EMP. Every time they pulse, local electronics are frying." The implications were alarming. As they spoke, reports came in, power outages at various locations across the country, cities thrown into darkness. Panic began to set in as people realized this was not just a spectacular celestial event but a potential threat. In the Pentagon, General Eldridge received a report of the first direct attack. An alien vessel had fired on a power station in Virginia, causing a massive explosion that knocked out power for hundreds of thousands of residents. It was clear now. This was an invasion. "Get me the president," Eldridge barked to his aide. "We need to declare a national emergency and get the National Guard mobilized. And I want all available intel agencies on this. We need to figure out what we're dealing with and how to stop it." As the chapter closes, the president addresses the nation, urging calm and promising a swift and decisive response. But across America, as families huddled by candlelight and emergency generators hummed, the alien craft continued their methodical assault on the nation's infrastructure, leaving everyone to wonder, why here? Why us? And unbeknownst to the rest of the world, in a small, secret facility in Nevada, a group of scientists and military officials stared at a glowing artifact recovered from a previous, unpublicized encounter with the unknown. It had begun to pulse in sync with the attacks, hinting at a connection that could either be humanity's downfall or its only hope for survival. In the shadowed chaos of New York City, beneath the sporadic glow of emergency lights, former Navy SEAL Commander Jack Turner navigated the darkened streets. With a sturdy backpack and a critical mission, he moved swiftly, avoiding major thoroughfares now teeming with confused and frightened civilians. His destination was a small, nondescript warehouse in Brooklyn, which housed a group of like-minded individuals determined to resist the alien forces. Inside the warehouse, a makeshift command center buzzed with activity. The walls were lined with monitors displaying news feeds, satellite imagery, and digital maps. Among those present were Dr. Alicia Khan, a brilliant electrical engineer, and Miguel Santos, a former Air Force communications specialist. They were joined by Sarah Chen, a charismatic community organizer who had swiftly become the voice of their fledgling movement. "Jack, you made it," Sarah greeted him, her eyes reflecting the weight of their situation. "We've got teams setting up similar hubs in major cities across the country. It's time we coordinate and start fighting back." Jack nodded, setting his gear down. "What's our status here?" Miguel chimed in, his voice urgent. "We're operational, but barely. These EMP pulses from the ships are frying everything electronic. Alicia's been working on some kind of shielding. We need it if we're going to maintain communications." Alicia led Jack to a workbench cluttered with electronic components. "I've managed to rig up Faraday cages around our essential gear. It's not perfect, but it should keep us online during the attacks. What we really need is a way to counter those pulses at the source." The discussion was interrupted by an alert on one of the monitors. An alien ship had been spotted descending towards Central Park. The group watched in real time as the craft emitted a pulse that silenced the cries of the city around it. "This is our chance," Jack stated decisively. "We need to capture one of their smaller drones. If Alicia can reverse engineer it, maybe we can find a way to stop them." The team quickly mobilized, gearing up with whatever they had, mostly improvised weapons and protective gear. They moved out under the cover of darkness, using the city's blackout to their advantage. The streets of Manhattan were eerily silent as they approached Central Park. The once vibrant city felt like a ghost town, the usual sounds of nightlife replaced by the distant hum of alien technology. As they neared the park, the silhouette of the alien drone became visible against the city's skyline, hovering low as if scanning the ground. Using hand signals, Jack coordinated the team's approach. They spread out, using the dense foliage for cover. Sarah, with her keen strategic mind, directed two team members to flank the drone from the sides. As they positioned themselves, the drone suddenly turned, its sensors picking up on their movement. Jack felt a surge of adrenaline. "Now!" he shouted, and the team sprang into action. What followed was a chaotic blur of motion. Miguel used a hacked police EMP gun to disrupt the drone systems momentarily. Alicia, with her expertise, managed to attach a makeshift modulator to the drone's undercarriage. The device fried its circuits, bringing the drone crashing to the ground. The team worked quickly to secure the area and dismantle the drone, removing its power source to prevent any tracking by the alien fleet. As they transported their prize back to the warehouse, Jack couldn't help but feel a spark of hope. This small victory was a sign, a first step towards understanding and combating the alien threat. Back at the warehouse, the drone was set up for examination. Alicia began her work immediately, her fingers deftly maneuvering around the alien technology. "I need a couple of hours," she said, her focus intense. "Keep an eye on the skies." As the team settled in to guard the location, Jack and Sarah took a moment to step outside, looking up at the starless sky now obscured by the alien Armada. "We've started something big here," Sarah said, her voice a mix of determination and fear. "We're not just fighting for New York or even America. This is for all of humanity." Jack nodded in agreement, feeling the weight of their resistance. "Let's hope we're up to the challenge." Inside, Alicia's work continued, a beacon of hope in the darkened city. As she deciphered the alien technology, the rest of the team prepared for the long fight ahead, knowing that the fate of the world now hinged on their success. Under the veil of night, the Resistance's makeshift command center in Brooklyn buzzed with a tense energy. The recovered alien drone lay dissected on the central table, its components splayed out like a complex puzzle waiting to be solved. Alicia, still elbow-deep in alien technology, muttered to herself, deciphering the intricate systems with a blend of awe and frustration. Jack Turner paced the perimeter, his mind racing with the gravity of their next move. "How's it coming, Alicia?" he asked, pausing to glance over her shoulder. She didn't look up from her work, her hands steady despite the pressure. "I think I'm onto something," she replied, her voice cautious but hopeful. "Their tech is advanced, but not invulnerable. I've isolated the frequency of the EMP, it's like nothing we use. If I can just replicate this—" Miguel interrupted, his tone urgent as he approached with his tablet showing live satellite images. "We might have a perfect target to test your theory, Alicia. There's an alien ship hovering over the Hoover Dam. It's isolated enough to avoid major casualties but significant enough to catch their attention." Jack considered this, nodding slowly. "It's a risk, but if we can take down that ship, we can send a message. We're not just hiding in the shadows." The team gathered around the table, maps and digital tools at the ready, as Sarah outlined the plan. "We hit them at dawn. 2 teams. One on the ground to deploy the device Alicia's working on, and one in the air to provide cover and distraction. Timing needs to be perfect." The rest of the night was spent in preparation. Alicia finalized her EMP countermeasure, a small, rugged device she affectionately dubbed the Pulse Breaker. Meanwhile, Jack and Miguel coordinated the logistics, mapping out the approach to the Hoover Dam, securing transportation, and arming themselves with whatever they could muster. As dawn broke over the Nevada desert, the resistance teams were already in position. The aerial team, led by a daring former pilot named Grace, took off in a retrofitted helicopter, its systems shielded by Alicia's technology. The ground team, with Jack at the helm, maneuvered through the rocky terrain, keeping out of sight from the alien ship sensors. The Hoover Dam loomed large as they approached, its massive structure casting long shadows in the morning light. The alien ship hovered ominously above, its hull reflecting the sun's rays in a blinding glare. Grace's voice crackled over the radio, a whisper of static underlying her words. "We're in position. On your go, Jack." Jack held up his hand, signaling his team to ready the pulse breaker. He keyed his radio. "Now, Grace. Hit them with everything you've got." The helicopter swooped in, dodging bursts of alien fire as it unleashed a barrage of makeshift missiles. The distraction worked. The alien ship's attention shifted upward, allowing Jack's team to move in. With a nod from Jack, Alicia activated the pulse breaker. The device hummed to life, emitting a pulsating sound that was almost inaudible but palpable in the tension-filled air. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, abruptly, the alien ship faltered, its lights flickering. Cheers broke out among the team, but Jack's focus remained sharp. "Stay alert," he warned. "It might not be down for long." His caution was warranted. The ship regained power, its systems rebooting with alarming speed. But before it could fully recover, Miguel directed a second strike, targeting the now exposed vulnerabilities Alicia had identified. This time, the impact was unmistakable. The ship shuddered violently, its hull emitting a high-pitched keening before it began to descend, crashing into the barren land near the dam with a ground-shaking thud. As dust and debris settled, the resistance members approached the downed ship cautiously. Inside, they found technology beyond their understanding, but more importantly, they captured critical data devices that could provide insights into the alien network. The victory at Hoover Dam was more than a successful mission. It was a proof of concept that human ingenuity could indeed combat alien technology. It galvanized other resistance cells across the globe, spreading hope like wildfire. In the aftermath, as they returned to their base, the team was somber yet resolute. They had won a battle, but the war was just beginning. Jack watched the horizon, the rising sun casting long shadows over the desert. The world had changed, but so had they. They were no longer just survivors. They were fighters, defenders of their home. And somewhere, in the vast network of the alien command, the impact of the Hoover Dam strike was registering. A new directive was being formed, one that would test the resistance like never before. After the successful mission at the Hoover Dam, the Resistance's morale was higher than ever. Yet, the victory brought new challenges. News of their success spread, not only amongst humans but also through the alien communications they now monitored with the captured technology. Jack Turner knew that they had just escalated the conflict and stirred a hornet's nest. Back at the Brooklyn Command Center, the team huddled around various screens displaying intercepted alien transmissions. Alicia, with her newfound expertise in alien tech, worked tirelessly to decode the messages, hoping to uncover potential weaknesses or upcoming strategies. The aliens aren't just attacking randomly. There's a pattern here, Alicia explained, pointing to a series of marked locations on a digital globe. Each target is geologically strategic, affecting Earth's natural resources. They're weakening the planet's ability to sustain itself. As they digested this revelation, a new problem presented itself. The Resistance needed more allies, more people with the skills and knowledge to help fight back. That meant reaching out to those with previous encounters or secret knowledge about the aliens, including government insiders. Sarah Chun took on the task of liaison. Using her vast network from her community organizing days, she contacted various officials, some reticent, others surprisingly cooperative. Her diplomacy paid off when she secured a meeting with a high-ranking but disgraced former official, who claimed to have crucial information. The meeting took place in a derelict factory in Detroit, far from the prying eyes of both alien surveillance and still loyal government agents. The official, a stern woman named Claudia Simmons, arrived with files and data drives, evidence of her claims. "You're not the first to fight them," Claudia revealed, handing over the files. "There was a covert operation years ago, a first contact gone wrong. We learned a lot, but it was buried, classified at the highest levels. The files were a goldmine, technical schematics, biological data on the aliens, and most shockingly, evidence of secret agreements between certain Earth governments and the alien forces, exchanges of technology for resources. This changes everything," Jack muttered, his mind racing with the implications. "We need to bring this to the public. But first, we need more than just information. We need actual firepower and more advanced tech." The Resistance expanded, forging unconventional alliances with other global cells and even some of the alien forces' dissenters. One such dissenter, an alien named Kale, approached the Resistance under a flag of truce. Kale was brought to the command center under strict surveillance. His appearance was unsettling yet fascinating, a being of light and energy contained in a suit that mimicked human form. "I do not agree with my kind's directive," Kale explained through a translator device. "Many of us don't. We see potential in humanity, potential for peace and mutual growth, not subjugation." Skeptical but aware of the opportunity, the team decided to collaborate with Kale, who provided insights into the aliens' technology, tactics, and, critically, their weaknesses. "We have a shared enemy in those who seek to exploit your world," Kale said. "I can show you how to disrupt their power grids, their command structures." With Kale's assistance, Alicia and Miguel developed new strategies and weapons, incorporating alien technology in ways that exponentially increased their effectiveness. Meanwhile, Sarah used the leaked documents to sway public opinion and rally more support from various world leaders and their constituents. As the Resistance grew stronger and more coordinated, so did the responses from the alien command. The Earth's defenders now found themselves frequently intercepting scouting missions, repelling attacks on their bases, and engaging in skirmishes that tested their new alliances and technologies. Through all this, Jack and his team learned the complexities of interstellar politics and the diverse motivations of the alien races. Kale proved a valuable ally, his contributions tipping the scales in several critical encounters. The Resistance had grown into a formidable force, fueled by a blend of human ingenuity and alien technology. Jack Turner's leadership had been pivotal, steering the diverse group of fighters from scattered skirmishes to coordinated global resistance. Yet, as the preparations for the Moon mission intensified, the air at the command center was thick with tension, not just from the upcoming battle, but from a creeping suspicion that had begun to infiltrate the ranks. Alicia, deeply involved in finalizing the designs for a new type of shield generator, noticed anomalies in the data streams. Data was being accessed at odd hours. Files that should have been encrypted and secure were tampered with. Alerting Jack and Sarah, she initiated a discreet investigation, which led to a shocking revelation. There was a spy among them. As the team grappled with this betrayal, the focus shifted to identifying the mole without alerting them. Surveillance was silently increased, and access to critical information was quietly restricted. The tension peaked one stormy night when the traitor made a move to transmit a massive data cache to an unknown receiver. Caught in the act was none other than a trusted advisor on alien technology, Dr. Helen Baxter. Confronted with her actions, Helen revealed a complex web of coercion and desperation. Her family had been held hostage, her cooperation secured in exchange for their safety. Her betrayal wasn't born of malice but of a visceral need to protect her loved ones. The revelation of Helen's situation shifted the team's dynamics. Sympathy mixed with anger, trust eroded by the stark reminder of their vulnerability. Jack made the call to increase security measures and attempted a rescue operation for Helen's family, emphasizing that no part of their mission could be jeopardized by personal stakes, however harsh that might sound. Meanwhile, the plans for the strike on the alien refinery on the moon were accelerated. The refinery, a critical node in the alien supply chain, produced a rare isotope used in their energy cores. Destroying it would cripple their operations and delay further advances on Earth. The mission was risky. The refinery was heavily guarded by both alien troops and automated defense systems. The team, composed of the best fighters from the Resistance, including Jack, Miguel, and an alien defector turned ally, Kale, prepared for a covert landing on the lunar surface. As the spacecraft, stealthily enhanced with alien tech, approached the moon, sensors picked up increased communication chatter among the alien fleet. It was clear they knew something was coming. In the shadowy craters of the moon, the team deployed, using the rugged terrain for cover as they approached the refinery. The plan was simple yet daring: infiltrate the facility, plant explosive charges, and retreat before detection. The execution began flawlessly. Kale, using his knowledge of the alien systems, disabled the external sensors, allowing the team to penetrate the perimeter. But as they set the charges, an alarm blared, the result of a previously undetected internal security measure. Chaos ensued. The team scrambled to evacuate as alien forces converged on their location. In the frantic escape, Miguel was trapped under debris from an explosive prematurely triggered by alien fire. Jack and the others, already en route to the rendezvous point, faced a harrowing choice. Returning for Miguel meant risking the entire team and mission, but leaving him was unthinkable. It was Miguel himself who made the decision for them. Through his comms, he ordered them to leave, his voice calm yet firm. "Go. Make sure this counts." Miguel's last words echoed in their ears as the explosives detonated, obliterating the refinery in a blinding explosion that lit up the lunar night. The mission was a success, but the cost was heavy. The team returned to Earth with a mix of triumph and mourning. Miguel's sacrifice was felt deeply, a stark reminder of the stakes at which they played. As they regrouped, the Resistance mourned yet grew stronger, their resolve hardened by the loss of one of their own. They knew the war was far from over, and more sacrifices might be required. But for now, they had struck a significant blow against their enemies, and Miguel's heroism would inspire countless others to join the cause. The loss of Miguel Santos reverberated through the ranks of the Resistance, deepening their resolve. His sacrifice had not only devastated a critical alien facility but had also galvanized other cells around the globe. Emboldened by this victory, Jack Turner spearheaded preparations for an even bolder move, an assault on the alien command center believed to be orbiting Earth in a cloaked mothership. In the bustling Brooklyn Command Center, the mood was a mix of anxious determination and strategic fervor. Alicia, now acting as the lead tech developer, had made breakthroughs integrating alien technology with human engineering, giving their equipment a much-needed edge. Meanwhile, Sarah Chen had succeeded in uniting various global resistance groups, orchestrating a worldwide response that would coincide with the attack on the mothership. Kale, the alien defector, played a crucial role in the planning. His intimate knowledge of the ship's layout and defenses was invaluable. "The command center is the hub of their operations," he explained during one of their strategy sessions. Disrupting it will cause disarray among their forces and might give us a chance to push them back for good. Jack devised a two-pronged attack plan. The first team, led by himself, would infiltrate the mothership to deliver a crippling blow to its core systems. The second team, led by Sarah, would coordinate ground-based attacks to prevent any reinforcements from being dispatched to aid the mothership. As the teams prepared, the global network of resistance fighters was put on high alert. This operation needed to be perfectly synchronized. Any deviation could lead to catastrophic failure. Everyone understood the stakes. This could be the turning point of the war, for better or worse. The night before the mission, Jack visited each member of the infiltration team. They checked and rechecked their equipment, went over the plans, and spoke of what awaited them. It was a somber evening filled with quiet moments of reflection and the unspoken fears of not returning. Before dawn, the team boarded one of the modified shuttles Alicia had equipped with stealth technology. The tense silence of the launch was a stark contrast to the usual loud, chaotic atmosphere of battle preparations. As the shuttle pierced through the atmosphere, disappearing into the starry abyss, back on Earth, Sarah initiated the second phase of the plan. Her team launched a series of coordinated strikes on known alien outposts, using newly developed EMP cannons that disrupted the aliens' shield technology. The global attacks were not just a diversion but also aimed to weaken the aliens' ability to respond to the space-based threat. In orbit, Jack's team approached the mothership, using debris from a recent space battle as cover. As they drew closer, the enormity of the alien ship loomed before them, bristling with armaments and sensor arrays. The stealth technology held, and they managed to dock at an auxiliary port without detection. Inside, the team split up. Jack and two others headed for the core systems to plant explosives that Alicia had specially designed to interact with the alien energy sources, causing a chain reaction that would cripple the ship. The rest secured their exit route and gathered any valuable intelligence they could find. Navigating the mothership was like moving through a labyrinth of metallic corridors, each turn and junction meticulously memorized from Kale's briefings. They encountered minimal resistance at first, thanks to the chaos Sarah's teams were causing on the ground. However, as they neared the core, they were ambushed by a patrol. A fierce firefight ensued, showcasing the harsh alien environment as a battleground. Jack's team was pinned down, their situation dire. It was then that Kale, using his understanding of his own people's tactics, created a diversion by remotely accessing the ship's internal systems and causing a false alarm in another sector. This maneuver gave them the opening they needed. Sprinting through the corridors, they reached the core room. With no time to spare, Jack set the charges while his team defended the entrance. The countdown began, and the team fought their way back to the shuttle amid increasing alien resistance. Barely making it back to the shuttle, they launched away from the mothership just as the explosives detonated. A brilliant cascade of energy erupted from the ship, sending shockwaves through space. On Earth, as Sarah monitored the operation, cheers erupted from around the world. The mothership was severely damaged, drifting lifelessly as secondary explosions dotted its hull. As they returned to Earth, the resistance celebrated, but Jack was contemplative. The victory was significant, but he knew the war was not over. The alien threat was wounded, not vanquished, and the path ahead remained fraught with danger. Yet, in this moment of triumph, the spirit of the resistance was stronger than ever. They had shown that they could strike at the heart of their oppressors, and they would continue to fight until Earth was free. As they prepared for the final confrontation, their resolve was unbreakable, fueled by the memory of those they had lost and the hope of a peaceful future. The impact of the damaged alien mothership drifting lifelessly above Earth was a symbol of the Resistance's growing power and unity. The once invincible alien Armada was now showing cracks in its armor, and for the first time since the invasion began, humanity dared to hope for victory. Yet, Jack Turner knew better than to underestimate the alien resolve. As the Resistance celebrated their recent victory, he was already planning the next steps, aware that the final battle to reclaim Earth was just beginning. In the war room of the Brooklyn Command Center, the mood was cautiously optimistic. Alicia was busy analyzing data from their latest victory, looking for insights into remaining alien forces. Sarah coordinated with global resistance leaders, ensuring the momentum of their attacks did not wane. Kale, the alien defector, was deep in discussion with Earth's military strategists, sharing critical intelligence on possible counterattacks. "Jack, you need to see this," Alicia called out, motioning him over to her workstation. She pointed to a series of data visualizations on her screen. "I've been tracking the Alien Command's communications since the mothership went down. They're not retreating, they're regrouping. I think they're planning a major offensive, possibly their last stand." Jack studied the data, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Where's the focal point?" he asked. "Here," Alicia replied, zooming in on a map of the Pacific Northwest. "All signs point to the Cascade Range. There's something there, maybe a base we haven't uncovered yet. It's heavily shielded, but with the right approach, we could take it out." Jack nodded, understanding the stakes. "Gather the team. We have work to do." The final mission was daunting. The alien base in the Cascades was not only well fortified but also surrounded by rugged terrain, making it difficult to access. The plan required precision and stealth, characteristics honed by months of relentless conflict. As they prepared, Jack pulled Sarah aside. "If something goes wrong, I need you to promise me you'll keep leading them," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of leadership. Sarah met his gaze, her eyes steady. "You're going to make it back, Jack." "We all will," she replied, but after a moment's pause, she added, "I promise." The night before the mission, the resistance fighters gathered around a large campfire outside their command center. It was a rare moment of respite, a chance to share stories, laughter, and even some tears. They remembered those they had lost, like Miguel, and steeled themselves for the battle ahead. At dawn, Jack led a select team of fighters, including Kale, towards the alien base. They traveled under the cover of the dense forest, moving towards their target with lethal intent. Meanwhile, Sarah commanded a larger force that created diversions along the perimeter, drawing the aliens' attention away from Jack's team. The approach was slow and fraught with danger. Alien patrols roamed the forest, and more than once, the team narrowly avoided detection. As they neared the base, the scale of the alien operation became clear. It was larger than they had anticipated, with vast energy shields pulsing through the complex. Kale was crucial in this part of the mission. Using a device Alicia had developed, he disrupted the shield long enough for Jack's team to infiltrate the base. Inside, they found not just alien soldiers but also human prisoners, testaments to the aliens' cruel experiments. Rescuing them became part of the mission. The battle inside the base was fierce. Every corridor and chamber was a potential death trap, but Jack's team pushed forward with grim determination. They planted explosives, freed prisoners, and disrupted critical systems. Then, the unexpected happened. During their extraction, the team was ambushed by a new type of alien, faster and more lethal than any they had encountered. In the ensuing chaos, Jack was seriously wounded, his fate uncertain as his team fought desperately to defend him and complete their escape. Outside, Sarah heard the distress call. Without hesitation, she redirected her forces, leading a daring countercharge to rescue Jack and his team. The battle was brutal, but Sarah's timely intervention turned the tide, allowing them to evacuate just as the base erupted in a series of explosions. Back at the command center, as Jack recovered, surrounded by his team, he saw the fruits of their labor on the screens around him. The alien base's destruction had sent shockwaves through the invaders' network. Across the globe, resistance cells reported victories, pushing the aliens back, reclaiming city after city. The war was not over, but a decisive victory had been achieved. Humanity had not only survived but had also rallied, fighting back with unyielded determination against a seemingly unstoppable foe. The world began to rebuild. Jack, now a symbol of the Resistance's success, continued to lead, but with a new perspective shaped by the trials and sacrifices endured. Sarah, ever his partner in leadership, stood by his side, ready to face whatever challenges the future held. The heroes of Earth, united by battle and bonded by shared loss, looked forward to peace, knowing they had reclaimed their home and secured their future. The alien threat was diminished, but Earth's defenders remained vigilant, forever changed by the war that had brought them together.